Happy Thursday. This is Laurie-Ann, your host of Be in Demand. This is the podcast where I help entrepreneurs just like you leverage speaking opportunities as your best form of marketing. Today is a special speaker breakthrough session with Susan Day. Susan, welcome. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here today.
Thank you. I can see on your screen it said mindful art therapy. Could you just tell me a little bit more about what do you do and who do you help?
Well, I'm a mindful arts therapist, which is a little bit of a mouthful on a public speaking problem. We tend to sort of work with people who have a trauma, who perhaps can't use words. And often we aren't given the words to express how we feel, or particularly when something goes wrong. And so we look at using any kind of medium, whether it's paint or markers, anything like that. You can do art therapy on the back of an envelope, biro, a pen. You know, it's not something you need great, and you don't need to be an artist as well. You just basically have to be able to hold a pencil in one way or another. Yeah, and I predominantly work with women who perhaps need more confidence in their lives. And on the other side, I work with preteens, which is a particularly vulnerable group of any society that needs to build that emotional resilience to get through adolescence and life.
Okay, I'm just writing some notes down here. So with the preteens, it's preteens or teens?
Predominantly preteens. I have a book published called Building Emotional Resilience, and I've focused on that particular, quite a small segment of our population, and it's a short age group to really sort of work on how mindfulness and how art therapy can build their confidence, raise their self-awareness, and then that moves to emotional regulation, which eventually develops into emotional resilience. So that ability to be able to bounce back from something when things go wrong, but the ability to process it as well and kind of set yourself back a little bit and say, okay, this terrible thing happened. It happened to me. What can I do about it? You know, so that it doesn't become a trauma that they have to carry through life.
Okay. What would you like to get out of this coaching session?
I think I'd like to be able to speak clearly and get my point across. Am I getting my message across?
Okay. So we need to have a concise message. This sort of reminds me of, in my in-demand signature speech program, I talk about a catchphrase or a repeatable phrase that you use over and over and over again. So this is one idea that I have. For me, my catchphrase is speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. If I was talking with a group of people about growing their email list with the right people to join their email list, I would just alter that a little bit and say, speaking is the fastest way to grow your email list.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm wondering, is there something that you say again and again and again that might be, do you have a catchphrase?
I don't. No, I don't. Yeah. I think art therapy is for anyone or everyone. It can be done anywhere. You could do it on a public transit. Don't get me driving, of course. And it's so simple, but the long-term effects and the benefits are hugely powerful. And you can be in a stressful, anxious situation. You can pick up a pen. You can take 3 very long, deep breaths, and you can start just drawing simple circles. And within minutes, everything's calm. You know, and the more you feel it, the quicker it happens. And that was a long catch.
That's a long catchphrase. We can't use that because that's like we are going down the rabbit hole of art therapy. Speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. Speaking is the vehicle that I get people from point A to point B. Yours is art therapy, okay? Is the fastest way, so we have some sort of an action statement. So for you, art therapy is the quickest way. Okay, I'm just writing this down. Is the quickest way to, what is the end result? It's got to be a short phrase, 1 or 2 words.
I would say a feeling of peace or calm. and control. Something along that line.
Art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm.
Yeah.
I like the way this sounds too. So just listen to this. Art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm.
Yeah.
Art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm. It doesn't have to explain everything, kind of like speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. Like it's a catchphrase that people say, really?
That's right. Yeah.
They might actually say, tell me more. I don't know. Just like, what do you mean by speaking? That opens a door for a conversation. And for you, art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm. Like, it's almost like it's oh so matter of fact.
That's right.
You know? Art
Ask me
therapy.
more. That's right.
Yes, art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm.
I love art therapy. Yeah.
Okay,
Art
so
therapy.
now that becomes something that you put inside of your speech.
Okay.
So inside my methodology to have the sort of presentation that gets you booked and rebooked and attract the right clients, what I teach inside there is inside of your speech, you could have 3 tips, 3 ideas. Okay. You become a lawyer. Okay. With these 3 tips. So we're just going to pick 1 tip. You get 1 tip. And as a lawyer, you have to defend that tip.
Oh, I see.
Okay. But everything comes down to art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm. It's almost like, here's my case. Here's the tip. Here's my case. And then you summarize it at the end with art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm.
Well, I love it. Okay.
What you're doing is you are teaching the audience your catchphrase.
Right. Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay. Because then they're leaving and saying, well, art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm. Does anybody have an envelope and a pencil?
It's right.
It literally can happen. It will happen.
It'll happen. That's right. That's terrific.
Yeah. Does that help you?
It's brilliant. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Definitely
Okay.
does.
Okay, what else? We got plenty of time.
Oh, we've got plenty of time.
We got more time at least. Yeah, that was a great one.
That's really good. Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because when you're passionate about something, you tend to talk too much. And a lot of podcasters so to say, oh, we want guests that don't, talk for the whole half an hour. And I think that's because people are passionate and they're obviously within a time frame they have to work within. So for me, I think also it's that point, when do I switch off, or when do I, stop talking about? And I think that's another really important, because podcasting is about having a conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a really important aspect to learn. Yeah.
So I think that is something that you have to learn yourself. And what I mean by that is I'm a big believer in moving forward while looking in the rearview mirror. We need to look at the past to be able to say, I wish I had answered that question a little more concisely.
Yes.
Now, if you're going to be on somebody else's podcast and you're submitting the questions to them, well, you should know what answers you're going to say. From there, you could be short and concise and almost have like 2 versions to each answer. A shorter one that's very concise, depending on how long this podcast episode is going to be, and maybe even a longer one.
Right, I see. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Or like, here's my short answer, but here's also a story that goes with that particular answer for that question.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because stories are so powerful. And that's part of my training. I specialized in storytelling, and I have an Irish background. So, we
like a story.
Story.
Yeah. And storytelling is such an art form. And I think the more podcasts that you get on, you'll actually be able to like, you know what? I did a good job there.
Yes.
and here's what I'm happy about. And here's what I wish I could do differently. But I'm actually wondering, when you feel like you are going on and on and on, is this a self-confidence thing that's showing up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I think one of the things I see a lot now is people, looking into imposter syndrome. And when you see these fabulous movie stars and they're gorgeous and they're fabulous and they're so in control, And then you read about the fact that they've shown up on set every day, fearful that someone's going to point them out and go, who do you think you are? Do you know?
Right. Right. And that confidence comes from within. I think when we constantly are looking outside of ourselves for that confidence, we're giving too much power away. And it's going to depend on how we interpret our outside world instead of always going inside. And this is completely what your work is, having that confidence. And well, here's an idea. And this is something that I still do to this day. I've been doing this for years. I have a pre-speaking routine.
Okay. That's interesting.
You know, for me, that pre-speaking routine is movement and music.
Oh, really?
So I literally, before I'm going to speak, and I also do this before sales calls also, I will put my earbuds in and there's a couple of songs that I listen to and it just gets my energy way up there, excited, and I feel empowered.
Oh, that's a great tip. I love music.
I show up as the best version of me.
Yeah. Oh.
And I don't worry about, oh, do I feel good about myself today? You know, does my hair look good? You know, did somebody compliment me? It's all internal. If you love music and you love movement, then dance to a couple of songs before you get on a podcast as a guest, before you record your own podcast, before you get on stage.
Excellent. That's really good. Do you think that motivation is also a part of that? Like, what truly motivates you? Not just sharing your message, not just perhaps building a podcast so you can have an income. Perhaps for me, I find I need to have a very deep internal motivation about helping people. Do you find that shines through as well? Is that something that you?
I can speak for myself, and I would say yes. Because my desire as a reformed, painfully shy girl, you know, the fact that I became a public speaker is like, what? Like when people hear that I used to be really shy, that I couldn't even make eye contact, they're like, no, not you. But my mission is to speak with more people and let them know that your story is needed. Your story is so valid. People need to hear your message and your solutions, your ideas. Everybody's voice matters.
Yeah. And that light. That's one thing I want, particularly with women, older women, is that we all have this extraordinary light to share.
Yeah.
And everybody's story matters. And that's part of my motivation. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That is so beautiful. So we need to get you on more stages so that you can start sharing that art therapy is the fastest way to peace and calm.
It is. Thank you.
I love this. So what's one or two gold nuggets that you're walking away with today?
Well, that's definitely the big one. That's you. That art therapy is the quickest way to peace and calm. I think for me that I don't need to rabble on. I don't need to explain the whys or the hows. You know, that the phrase is just fabulous. And also connecting it to the stories, that anecdotal stuff that we all personally feel. No, and there's an emotion for me that builds an emotional connection. So they're my two biggest nuggets.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My
and
pleasure.
would you please share with people where they can find you, where they can follow you and learn more from you?
Well, absolutely. So I hang around under Mindful Arts Therapy, so arts with an S. And my website is mindfulartstherapy.com.au because I'm in Australia. But I hang around a lot on Instagram and particularly on Facebook. Yeah, so I'd be happy for people to drop me a line, have a chat. Be really good fun. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that was a fun episode with Susan, and we really dove into and came up with a great catchphrase that she now has. And it's going to be so easy for her to start using that on her podcast, on podcasts that she's guesting on, and anywhere else that she's speaking. Are you tired of hearing crickets on social media? Wondering where to get seen by the right people? Or frustrated with the growth of your business? Then the Speaker Breakthrough Session is just for you. During this free 20-minute discovery call, I'll help you recognize where you're leaving money and opportunity on the table. You'll walk away with tips and a strategy to leverage speaking opportunities to get positioned as the expert, visible to the right people, and monetize your expertise. Book your call at speakandstandout.com/SBS for Speaker Breakthrough Session.